is we got to bring on my next panelist. And for those of you that do follow me, me and this woman went at it for about a year, and we bloodied each other up pretty good. And we found some common ground. We were able to talk based on real shit. And as it turns out, I was proud. And this is where they say I'm just a bully and all those things. She is the female version of bully in my world, I guess, as far as truth. And there's going to be a heads explode all over Columbia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my Ann Rogers State Executive Committee woman, Shannon Grady. Shannon, welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I bet you never thought you'd be on this show.
I never did. Well, not as an interviewed, perhaps as a discussion.
We have had some discussions. That being said, you are my whistleblower. You yes. are going to drop some truths tonight, and yes, I wanted Roger to be here. And this is going to hurt a lot. This is going to really bother a bunch of the establishment, and it's probably going to be picked up nationally. That being said, you are our state executive committee woman. Tomorrow at 4:00 in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes.
There is our state executive committee meeting.
Correct.
Are you and Roger going?
We are.
Yes.
So everything I pretty much showed today is they don't want you nowhere near that place, and they don't even recognize the HCGOP as we are the original and the OGs of the Republican Party here. So what are you expecting walking up there?
Well, given that I've emailed Drew and I've messaged with Hope Walker, and neither of them have responded to me in any positive way to say congratulations. I've been ghosted by Drew. I mean, he just doesn't want to respond at all. I did make multiple attempts with Hope to try to reason with her and Drew and explain exactly what you just went through, that, you know, my experience, and I have some pretty serious experience in Robert's Rules, is that there was nothing that prohibited Roger from rescinding or taking back his resignation, which he did. And I made the point that the day that he said that you guys were all resigning on the 30th, they all stood and they applauded. Now, I made the point that at any time prior to or after the applauding, had one of the ECs said, I make a motion that we accept their resignations, and somebody seconded and they voted on it, then it couldn't be undone. As they say, the horses would have been out of the stall and you couldn't put them back in. That never happened. So I tried repeatedly to message with Hope because I've never had Drew's phone number. That's something I've just never had it. But
Hope is the state executive director. She's basically she was the lady in the video dragging Drew out of the place.
Correct. And so I messed with her. She did exchange back and forth, and her contention was, I'm sure what Drew had said, that, you know, Horry County had a policy that the parliamentarian would take over in the event of both the chair and the vice chair being absent or unable to fulfill their duties. And I responded, well, Roger didn't leave. He rescinded. He's still the chair. And therefore, you need to let this continue on, and we'll get, you know, the state EC elected. We'll get a vice chair elected, and then move forward with the reorg in the convention for the county in April, March. So she just didn't seem to want to accept that answer. That's not what they wanted. And so I said, listen, you're gonna cause a lot of problems legally, and money's going to be spent on this, and it's silly. It's really ridiculous. So
power, right?
It really does. It is really about power. And at the end of the day, what I can say is, and folks probably know this if they've watched your show, and I've heard, you know, about our squabble, if you will. Our difference of opinion really goes all the way back to the last reorg because of Lynn Wood. I was not a Linwood supporter, and I ceased to be I was prior to the Georgia runoff, in which he stood up on that stage and said, you know, don't go vote. Republicans don't go vote. Boycott this election. It's rigged. While I agree it was rigged, not voting is basically forfeiting. You're just giving up, and then the Democrats don't even have to cheat. They just win. So that's not an answer. So from that moment on, I was very suspicious of him, and that was really what was the main catalyst in our disagreement, if you will. Once that was no longer an issue, and then we kind of progressed forward, I will say that it all began at our state convention. I think, Roger, correct me if I'm wrong, was that Pine Lakes Country Club? Is that where we had our state convention, our portion?
No, it was at the Surf Club.
So, okay, yes, I couldn't remember what it was. But at the club, after the election process was over and Drew had won, we were outside in kind of like the little foyer area, and it was Don Bound, and he was giddy. He was on the phone. He was just, being his normal exuberant self.
Red
And
hat,
Mike
red
Conant,
hats for Trump. Don
red
Bell.
hats for Trump, yeah. Now he's been told to cease and desist that, so now it's red hats for America. But now I guess it's Horry County conservatives. But anyway, I
Still
digress.
red.
Yeah. So Mike Conant's walking up, and he kind of, Don sort of acted like, I don't want Mike Conant here. And then he said, it doesn't matter. Guess who I'm on the phone with? Guess who I'm on the phone with? And I said, your wife? I don't know. And he goes, no, it's Pamela. It's Pamela, meaning Pamela Vett, the lieutenant governor. So I thought, okay, well, at that time I knew that she was having a home built along the beach, and Don was kind of helping her out by overseeing that while she wasn't there, so on and so forth. So like, whatever. But then he said, she's going to meet with us, and we're going to talk about how we can fix the mess that is at Horry County GOP. And so, of course, I was like, well, awesome. Wow. The lieutenant governor is going to help us out. This is incredible. I can't believe it. Because at that moment, understand, I knew nothing about Roger. Roger was an unknown quantity. And all I knew about you, Chad, was that you were the devil incarnate. So, and Tracy was QAnon. So that was my knowledge level at that point in time. And so as far as I was concerned, we had to do something to try to work through the process. So we ended up having a meeting not very long after that. And I think you have some text messages that lay that out.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Sure.
The first one is a lady named Jerry.
Jerry McDaniel. Yep, very active in this process. She was in that. So, I told her, I said, listen, actually, this is after we've had the first meeting, because we had that meeting in May.
Right. So let me to lay it out here. So the new GOP, we clandestinely took over the GOP. We put in our chair, vice chair, and executive committee woman. And the day of, nice mug. And the day of, it was already the ball was already being rolled with Pamela Vett, the lieutenant governor, to fix this. What does that mean? To get rid of the HCGOP as it was voted in?
Well, essentially, it was to work around you guys. So this is where that whole concept of having the auxiliary Republican groups in the various counties that were rebellious, if you will, the rebellious counties, shall we call it, much like King George dealt with the rebellious colonies, or tried to.
Yep.
And so that's what was happening. Now, again, Don and he had a great, and still does have a good relationship with Pamela Vett. And so, of course, he said, come down here, we need your help. And so she acquiesced and came. And so we had a meeting, and it was held at Reese Boyd's law firm.
Wait, time out.
Okay.
Reese Boyd, the new chairman of their little party they got going on over there?
Yes, that is correct.
What an odd coincidence.
At his law.
Yeah, it is an odd coincidence.
He must have the only office in the world.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's go through these texts real quick, and you tell me what's being said here, because I don't know what order they're in, and you wanted me to have them earlier, so I didn't know how they came off the phone. But this here is Jerry McDaniel. Jerry McDaniel touts herself as Donald Trump's South Carolina director for, I think, 5 weeks or something like that before she was fired. It was in the Washington Post.
Right.
Actually,
she was a paid member of Trump's staff in 2016 here in South Carolina.
I hear she texts him every day.
Not so much.
Well, I've been to events where she said everybody get together because I'm sending this to Donald tonight. Did those pictures not get there?
I'm going to call it BS.
Okay, well, I guess we know where that's at. Maybe that's why it was only 5 weeks. Anywho, Don Bound, Mr. Red Hat, here he is. The only reason that I was asking was because Pam called me this morning and wanted to know if I was going. I do understand when you see her, please explain that I did try to get tickets, but they were sold out. I would appreciate that she knows I tried. Yes, sir. Please keep the fact that she called me between you, her, and me. Well,
that's in reference to the governor in one of the events that, again, as Drew put out, he informed all the Republican members, elected officials, that they were to go through the Women's Club, the Horry County Republican Women's Club, of which I was the president, that they were to go through us rather than the HCGOP. You guys were completely usurped. You were circumnavigated. Nobody was going through you.
And you ran the Horry County Republican Women, which they used as one of their
auxiliaries
through there, yeah, for
Correct.
auxiliary. So
So
you're
we
admitting that the Horry County Republican Party Women's Party was absolutely an auxiliary to the rightfully duly, we like that word, duly elected GOP, HCGOP,
that is
just like
correct.
Drew said he did in the Fitz News, right?
Yes, that's 100% accurate. Yes.
Wow.
So at any rate, the governor and the lieutenant governor were coming to our event, or actually it was an event for the governor and his reelection campaign in June. And Don had been upset with me, and so he wasn't going to come because he was upset with me for some reason. I think it goes back to what you and I were able to accomplish in August, and he wasn't willing to help me, and so I let him know in no certain terms I thought he was a POS.
You're
And
talking about when you reached out to Tracy and I to see if we could help you
right,
get some
the
interpreters
translator from
out of.
Afghanistan and his family saved. Yes. And I
Mhm.
tried to get that information onto the Liz Calloway show. I tried through Liz, got no response. Tried through Nick, got no response. And Nick did actually put me on the phone and had me on hold. And then Liz never let me on the show because she was too busy interviewing then candidate Russell Fry, who has such a
Ah,
wealth of military experience and knowledge that you could fill half of a thimble.
yeah,
Um,
he's a peach.
yeah, he's a real military expert. So anyway, I didn't even, she didn't even say my name. I just wanted to have 2 minutes to share the names of these people so that they could get this information to the senators and to the congressmen to hopefully save